so I'm uploading it now. But anyway, can you hear me? If you could just type yes or say yes. I don't know if your microphone's on or not. So I'm going to jump right into hang on one second. Alright, I gotta shut off this Benzinga thing real quick. It's gonna drive me nuts. The alerts. Shut those off. I'm gonna turn him on for a minute. Turn on Benzinga for a minute. Is it 8:33?
There's data at CPOS 2022 highlight durable clinical responses of Tensilimab, Balstilimab combination of sarcoma. That's Alpha Golf Echo November, AGEN.
All right, so jobless claims came in lower than expected, so that's good. 4-week average is worse than expected.
Automotive
continuous jobless claims worse than expected.
The company announced funding votes on
shut him off now. I don't need him on there. All right, so let's go ahead and what are we looking at now that we have that data? So I'd be definitely looking for this market to pull back today. All right, we have our we had our zones here. I did for the pre-market game plan, and almost all of them got hit. Our next one is this 11.565. And if we're looking left on the higher time frame, the next area is going to be right here, 11.520 and 11.501. So we're going to go ahead and mark those off just so we have it on our higher time frame. And the next level would be that 50% Fibonacci retracement. So we'll just leave that there. We don't have anything marked here. We really don't need anything on there because we have everything here to the left of us. I went ahead this morning, and what I did was just scrunch this up really big and brought it over to the left so I could find the areas to the left where we're going to see potential price bounces and turnarounds. Now, this is from the November 10th, the day that we had that massive rip higher. All right, so that's we're already marked off down to a $300 move, which is the average true range, but we'll go ahead and mark off another area. I'm going to mark off that last little area right there just so we have them all, because after that it's all the way back down to, yeah, if we crash through that, I mean, we do have several areas, but again, I would be looking for that gap to fill from that Thursday when we had that news. So let's go back here and see. So I only took four trades today. Yeah, only 4 trades, and I'll show you where I took them right here and why I took them. This one here, why did I take this trade? Because I was looking for that bounce, right? I took this one right here looking for this, but then I went outside saying goodbye to the kids for school. So I closed it out. So we got $56 on the board. All right. And now we would just want to see if we see some divergence here, which we clearly do. All right. But that news just came out. So again, we have 2 gaps to fill above us. Let's go to yesterday's close and mark that off. We want to always know where we closed yesterday, so we have that area marked off. So we closed right here. So let's go ahead and mark that level off. I'm going to go ahead and make that really thick. Alright, so that's our gap to fill up above us. Alright, so we have this gap to fill 100% net short right now. Now let's come over here and just look at the 15-minute chart. Alright, this was yesterday's zone. Alright, and I'm not going to change that because we really don't have anything to the left of us that's worthwhile changing. Alright, where price is now is as low as it has been all morning. Okay, so the pre-market low, all right, here's 4 a.m. It runs right into that, right? There's the pattern we're always looking for. All right, so the pre-market high is right up here at 11,748. Good morning, Russo. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you. I'm driving down.
I was going to send you a message. I didn't know if because OBS wasn't streaming, so I'm just recording it today. It's just going to take longer to get up there.
Yeah. Well, it's first of all, the pre-market went up, and this down fine, no problem. I could join you maybe for about 7 minutes, and then I have to go. I'm driving. So.
Oh, nice, cool. Yeah, we're just kind of going over the the lay of the land again. So I'm looking here at the higher time frame, and with the Elliott wave theory, which we're going to start talking about, we got 1 leg, 2 legs, 3 legs down now, all right? So on a pullback, that is considered a decent amount for a pullback, all right? When we had that big uptrend from Thursday, that's a decent amount for a good pullback. Remember that we're coming into the end of November, going into December. So we are anticipating that Santa Claus rally, which is why my goal today, I would expect to see more sell-off based on those jobless claim numbers, right? Because now they would most likely want to fill this gap. We do have those 2 gaps above us. We have a massive one now from tonight, and we have the one from yesterday. So we have 2 gaps to fill above us, but those I could easily see being filled going once we come back down this area. But the problem that we're facing now is that now we're right in a really nice area with the Elliott wave pullback, all right? In a nice 6-legged move to the upside, we got a 3-legged move to the downside. Okay, now the market makes more sense, all right? So from here, we're really just going to have to play it by ear today, right? We do have these price targets below us, all right? So I really don't think we're gonna fill this gap all the way back down here to 10,900. That would be far-fetched in my opinion, but you never know what kind of tricks they have up their sleeve. All we can do today at this point is monitor the ride down and use our higher time frames for the divergence areas. I mean, again, on our 30-minute right now, we're sitting well at the bottom. All right, the 15-minute, we're kind of getting divergence right now on the 15-minute, but on the 4-hour time frame, we're at like 0 on the projection oscillator, and we're at 41 on the RSI. So let's go ahead and take a look at our daily time frame on here and see where we're sitting on the RSI. Now notice on the daily time frame, all right, we are almost at the 50% retracement mark on the RSI. All right, so that is very, very key. Okay, when we hit that 50% retracement mark on the RSI, we could potentially see that rebound back to the upside. Now, with that said, notice the trend on the daily RSI. Okay? So, notice the trend. If this was to sell off today, if we hit this trend on the RSI, that would probably most likely bring us right back into this area. All right? So, that's even more encouraging to see that, but we're going to have to wait, right? We're going to have to be patient and see what it does at the 50% mark, right? Does it does it hold it and we bounce, right? Because we're in a really nice area now, okay? We're in a nice area where, this sell-off might happen. It has the potential on the daily time frame. It clearly has that potential to move back down to our trend line, okay? So we have to keep that in the back of our minds today, and we're just going to have to use caution until we see whether we hold the 50% mark on the RSI and the Bollinger Band indicator. All right. So on the 1 hour time frame, I'm going to go ahead and put mine on the daily for now, just so I can keep an eye on that and monitor it as we're going live here right now. So I got mine all set up now, and I'm going to draw that trend line on here as well, just so we have it there. All right, it's days like this where you really want to put the higher time frames into perspective. All right, because they're going to be key on days like today. Let me go ahead and that's not going to go. Let me bring this over more. There we go. And that just moved 50%. All right, so this is going to play a key role in what we're going to do today. So I can't stress that enough. All right, we got the move up from Thursday. We have a 3-legged Elliott wave pullback now. So now everything is kind of, the stars are aligning. All right, so now today's going to be a game of let's monitor our zones. All right, let's trade what we know. Let's trade what we could see. All right, notice on almost every zone that we've hit, okay, every zone that we've hit, what have we done? We've pulled back. We came down, we pulled back, okay? I can't stress enough, guys. You have to learn that this is how the market moves. It's not going to move perfectly like that, as you can see here. But the 4 little trades I took today were already up $56. Right? And I cut this one short because I went outside. So, that's what we're going to play today, all right? The zones are very close to one another, relatively close, okay? We're only talking 50, 60 points away on each zone, so that's really good. And we're just going to have to play this out by ear and see what we do. All right, we have our zones on the higher time frame. We got them all marked off, right? We just came down to, I marked these 3 off in the pre-market, and we've already hit all 3, and we bounced on all 3. The next zone we're looking for is 11,524, and then 11,500, and then 11,450.
Bang, bang. I'm going to say catch you later, and I'll watch this later. Have a great day, guys.
You too. So those are the 3 zones that we're looking for now. And as we come into those zones, we want to pay attention to where these indicators are landing. All right? So not only when this gets close to that 50% mark and this gets close, what are these indicators on the 15-minute time frame indicating? Are they indicating divergence or not? If they're indicating divergence, now we're on our trading time frame. Let's start looking for entries, all right? And that's how you want to combine all 3 of these into your overall trading plan for the day. So until this actually gets to that 50, right, it's just kind of a wait and see type of game. All right, we're already, we got some nice divergence going on right now, right? We don't have it here yet, but we do have it here. All right, we're kind of holding this little area right now. But if you look back at each zone, all right, on each zone, the pullbacks, this is the first time it bounced since we broke that zone, right? We had one bounce, and then it collapsed, and then it came down. Now it bounced again. All right, but we are getting divergence here. So we just want to be patient and wait and see. All right, so if we're playing with the trend, right? Let me show you what else I did before I go on. I marked off this right here, all right, because this would be our target area for a reversal, and notice where that would take us. That would take us right back to fill the gap from yesterday. All right, and look where that falls into place. You know, this is just the science of the market, right? I mean, this is how predictable the market is, that when you draw these trend lines, how they line up like the stars. You know, it's just, you got to be able to identify them, right? So here, this is what we're doing. This is what I did right here, and I just made it blue, all right? And then it lines up perfectly with not only the overnight low, but with the patterns that the market loves to do. I mean, look at that. You can't make that up. So just make sure you guys get in tune with the market, with the way the market likes to move, all right? I draw these patterns every single day, all right? And there's a reason for that, right? What's the reason for that? Because the market does it every single day. The market does it every single day. The market does it every single day. All right, so we want to trade with the direction of the trend, right? It's the overall bigger picture on the weekly time frame is down, all right? The picture right now is down, but now we got to consider that we got that 3-wave pullback. Okay, we got what we were looking for. All right, the 3-wave pullback. Let me draw that up. There's your first leg, your second leg, and your third leg. All right, so now we're kind of in that area, and again, everything is lining up. Okay, even though these numbers were bad, right, we were anticipating this pullback. We do have a big gap below us. We have 2 gaps above us. Very, very strange times in the market, to say the least. All right, but we know this information. We have it all, and we're ready to act on it, right? We got this gap to fill us. We had a gap up here from yesterday, and the big one below us. So with that all being said, right now, you know, we're breaking. I don't want to say we're breaking it, because looks like I'm missing an area on here. Let me just put 2 lines on here just to do it, see where we're at. Here's the first one. I'm going to go right in between those. There's the second one. And then there we go. So now let's go back and see where we are. All right, so you see we're right on that line right now. So now we just want to see if we get, I want these to stay here. We really need to, I hope they stay there this time. All right, so that's what we're watching, all right? We're watching for that 50% retracement, and if that doesn't hold, we're looking for the bounce off of the trend line that we drew on the indicators, okay? You have to utilize them. They're tools in your toolbox, right? So utilize the tools that you have. All right, we have our whole day plan right now and set. Okay, what are we waiting on? Where are we wanting to go? What does the market like to do? All right, so we're anticipating this move right here. Okay, and if we don't get that move, we're anticipating some type of a pullback in this area. Okay, in this area. Jobless claims were not good. All right, but again, the market just doesn't digest news like we do, right? It doesn't really care. The market has an objective. It has places to go. It doesn't really care much about anything else. This is how, you know, institutions and banks trade and make money. So the economy has some weight on it, but as you can clearly see, during COVID, the market went straight up. So it doesn't have, you know, that much weight on jobs or anything else like that, because nobody had a job when the market went straight up. But like I said, we got the pullback we were looking for. We had 7 or 8 legs up. All right, and this is the Elliott wave pattern right here. Okay, well, I don't have it on the daily time frame. On the 30-minute, all right, here's all those legs to the upside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now we got the 3-legged pullback. 1, 2, 3. But again, we're waiting on specific information on our indicators, just like we discussed. We have them marked off, and now we just be patient. And that's all we can do. Right? We're anticipating a bounce. All right? We're anticipating the markets to go up through December, because that's just what they do. That's why everybody calls it the Santa Claus rally. And we want to wait for divergence, right? We have it already on our lower time frame. And now we're just waiting for this area, okay, for confirmation. Are we going to stop at the 50, or are we going to continue to the trend line? All right, stopping at the 50 or the trend line is going to put us right where we want to be. All right, stopping at that 50% mark is probably going to put us right in this area. And stopping at the trend line would put us more in this area. All right, so these are very key areas, because that's getting closer to that gap to fill below us. And don't worry too much about the gaps above us, because, again, we're going to fill these gaps no matter what. And with this pattern today, we could possibly do that. So we just want to, use caution, like every day, and see what the market does. Now, notice on that jobless claims, it really didn't move the market too much, right? So what does that tell you? That should tell you that, hey, we should be expecting or anticipating a continuation to the upside, right? Because you saw what the PPI data did, right? You saw what the information did yesterday, the big moves it makes. And today it's like a dud, like nothing, right? We had the sell-off long before that, but you got to remember, going into December is the Santa Claus rally, right? November, December. So big money was buying down here, just like we said. That's why I said all that time, if we were going to sell off, we would have already done it, right? So they don't want to sell down here. Remember, think like big money. Who are they going to sell this to? Nobody. How are they going to get people to buy it, right? By raising the price, right? Let people buy it and sell your position that you bought here to them up here. All right? So now we sold off. We got the 3-legged Elliott wave pullback. All right? We're waiting on these specific areas that we've already talked about. And I keep talking about them because I want you guys to understand the importance of what I'm talking about. Right? And being patient and waiting on the market to come to you. Okay? Why would you want to be aggressive and trade this when you know we need information? Right? Do we hold, or do we come down to our line? Do we hold? Do we come down to our line? Right? We're starting to get some divergence here, which is good. We're getting divergence here. Good. We're getting it in a specific area. Excellent. Right? We have gaps to fill above us. I like it even more. Right? But this is kind of what we're waiting on. We're waiting on a specific piece of the information. Right? It's like we have the game plan, we have a picture, but we're missing a piece of the puzzle. All right? Does that make sense? So can we trade this? Sure, we can. I'm taking small little trades. Right? And we can trade it any way we want. But right now, the trend is your friend. So let's go ahead and look at this as far as measured moves go. All right? Just on this little snippet of information here, okay, if we drew out our legs, there's your first leg, your second leg, and your third leg. Elliott wave. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. The market is always repetitive. All right? So we got consolidation, first leg down, second leg down, third leg down. If we take this and draw a channel, all right, there's one channel. Now I'm going to bring this down and I'm going to make a new channel. All right, it's so much easier to do your channels that way, right? Rather than trying to fidget around with this one. Just draw the top channel, drag it down, and draw another top channel. All right. Now, with that channel, you can also do a channel in your relative strength index. We'll do it on the percent B, if it's going to let me. Alright, this is like your downtrend. If this breaks to the upside, what should we be looking for? Right? Then we're going to be looking to come back to fill that gap. But don't forget, if we break out of a channel, it's most likely going to want to come back down and retest it. Does it happen all the time? No, but you have that piece of information in the back of your mind that that's a possibility. So instead of buying the breakout, wait for the pullback. Right? You have to learn to be patient in this market. You really do. That's what catches so many traders and makes people lose so much money is the impulses, right? It broke out. I have to be in that trade, right? They're not looking at the big picture. They're looking at a minute 2-minute time frame or 1-minute time frame, and they're just jumping into things blindly, right? I don't want to teach you guys to ever do that. I want to teach you to be patient, plan your entries, plan your exits, and wait for the full picture of the puzzle. All right, we have a game plan right now. What's our game plan? Well, to the upside, we're looking to fill this gap. Okay, if we're going to make that move, we're looking for the 1, 2, and then possibly that another leg down. Okay, I would think they would want to get that gap filled below us, because again, the gaps above us can be easily filled. All right, but I would think they would want to fill that gap before the ride up for the Santa Claus rally. But who knows? I mean, we're right in, like I said, all the stars are aligned now. We had a 6-legged move up. We had a 3-legged pullback over the last week. And if this is going to continue higher, a 3-legged pullback is exactly the length you would want for that next leg higher. All right, so that's why I'm saying we have, this is kind of just like yesterday when we were in that area, right? We were waiting for the next piece of information. This is kind of that same gig, right? We're waiting on a pretty important piece of the puzzle today to decide or determine how we're going to trade this. Doesn't mean we can't take, little minute trades right now. We can do that, but we just want to be cautious. Don't get in, don't chase a breakout. Wait for it to retest. All right? Just always wait. Like, look, here was a breakout, and then it retested. Then it came down. Breakout, retested, then it came down. All right? It always does that. Here's your breakout. This one didn't retest all the way up, but it did. You got the pullback, right? There's always going to be room to trade, right? You don't have to be the first, because what can always happen? All right, let's go back up here and just show you what can happen and why traders lose, because they're not being patient. Man, I am just moving every single thing on my chart today. Let me lock it all while I'm moving. There we go. Now we can move freely. Now that was a range. Well, here's another good example right here of trading a breakout in the channel, right? That didn't work out. Why? Because what's the move I always say? The pullback, right? Wait for the pullback. I can't stress it enough. You guys are not new anymore, right? You've been with me for quite some time now, but we've been really discussing this in depth like the last couple weeks or months. So start learning it. You know what I'm saying? Especially on this breakout, right? Look at where you were in relation to that breakout. I mean, would you seriously bought that candle when you're at the top of your indicators? No, right? You guys, this is why you have to compile all the data that you have available, right? If you see a breakout candle, you shouldn't even be trading it, first of all, without knowing where it is in relation to your relative strength index and your Bollinger Band indicator. All right, you should never take a trade ever without confirming on your relative strength index. All right, you guys, every trade I look at, I'm looking at here, and I'm basing my trade off of this, not off of this. Right? All my trades are based off of the indicator. They're not based off of the chart at all, unless I'm trading the 20 and the 200, right? But in a trending market, right, trading the 20 and the 200 is you're trading a channel, basically, right? So even though you're trading, I'm still trading in a specific area, right? So I'm in a channel in the downside, I'm trading to the downside, right? And only in specific areas. But notice where the indicators are in those specific areas. All right? Look at what I'm looking at. Here you got flat top, you got divergence, right? So don't just buy blindlessly. Have a plan, look at your divergences, and wait for an entry. Right? That would have been a good scalp right there because we did get the divergence. Right? We had divergence. This one is really diverging. But let's go ahead and put a little marker there. And even notice here, this one peekabooed, and look at your candle like it was going to break out. How many people you think got trapped on that? Right? And how could they have avoided buying there? Well, there's several reasons. I mean, did you not see that you're in a channel? Did you not identify the overall market direction? Do you not have the right tools, right? I mean, it's just utilizing what you have in front of you will save you so many bad trades. It will pretty much not even get you into a bad trade. You know, you might get faked out. Yesterday we had a couple of little moves, right? We identified them, this happened and it shouldn't have, right? So you identify that, and then when you identify that kind of playing going on in the market, you just wait a few extra minutes before you take your trade. Let that trend wiggle itself out, and then you're ready to go. Good morning, Mike.
Hey.
So, if you're... I don't know, did you hear about any of this, what we were talking about? I don't know how long you'd been in there. I had the chat box covering you up.
Oh, I've been in here a while.
Okay, cool.
I basically got on about 20, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes ago.
All right, cool deal. So,
Hey, thanks. I just got so much shit going on. But I look at all the videos done.
Cool deal. Yesterday was good, but I want to continue that every day as far as doing your assessments and, coming up with your game plan and talking about the Elliott wave theory. It's all going to be in the boot camp. Like I said, the next couple of boot camp days are going to be like your meat. You know what I'm saying? And everything else is going to be gravy. So the Elliott wave theory, the channels, it's a lot of information to compile. And again, that's why I started with the ranges, because the ranges can get you up and running and making money. Trading the ranges with divergence. This, trading the channels, is pretty much the rest of the market, right? Because when you're not in a range, you're in a direction. All right, so you're in a channel. You're either in a trending channel or a sideways channel. Sideways channels are very, very slow moving, right? So you really got to be able to master, your divergence, your lines, and the Elliott wave. All right, here we had 6 legs up, which was very frustrating because, typically 4, 5 like the max. That's why I was so frustrated during this period. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. It was just hard to accept. But anyhow, that's why also on that good news, it couldn't make any higher highs. You know what I mean? It ripped up that day 2 bars, and it sold off the rest of the day. Right? And that's why I was like, if it doesn't do that, I'm just done. Because then it's beyond something I've ever seen. You know what I mean? So now with that, we got... Huh?
This is just a crazy market.
It is, man. I'm telling you. But this is what I'm saying, though. Like, teaching you guys in this market, if you can get this down in this market, and I really think I'm teaching you like the best I possibly can, and I'm trying to keep it simple and easy. And I know I jump all over the place. I know that. But if you're here and you're learning it, go ahead, guys. Once the market returns to normal, I mean, we're making. I've been averaging what, $1,000, $2,000 a day. In a normal market, that's $10,000, $12,000, and that's just on the MNQ. But once we graduate from this, I just want you guys to be able to see the potential of even trading conservatively, how much money you can make. That's my style, and when the market's good and trending, I'll make money. There's no question about it. We're just in a market where I'd rather trade conservatively and make consistently $500, $1,000, $2,000 a day, rather than trade aggressively and possibly lose that. But when we're in a nice market, trending, $5,000, $10,000 a day in an hour or so is very, very simple to do. You know what I'm saying? And you don't even get stressed out about it. It's just like, but this type of a market, you want to adjust your size, adjust your position, and don't be greedy. Because look at the chop. The chop is just, look at this chop fest we're in right now. Right? Do you want to partake in that? I don't. You know what I'm saying? So, if you look at my trades that I took today, look at my profit targets. This one I would have let ride, but my kids were outside. I wanted to go say bye to them. But look at my little profit targets, That one was a pretty decent one. And then I took two right here, 1 and 2. But just real quick in and out for $56. But, I know what we have on deck. The news was coming up. And we have to wait for this piece of the puzzle. We have the nice Elliott wave 3-legged pullback, 1, 2, 3, and we're in a nice area with nice divergence. Everything's looking relatively good right now, but we just want to keep an eye on it and see if we are going to get, are we almost maxed out on this leg, and we have to take this into consideration, right? Are we going to do this move, like I said 3 times already, and it's going to bring us right back up into this area, which you couldn't ask for a better picture. So today ought to be really exciting, to say the least, to see what we do. But I just want to be really cautious, you know what I'm saying? And wait and be patient, because once we determine what we're going to do, the easy money is going to come. You don't have to trade here with all the sloppiness, right? Let other traders do that. Let the market take the money from them, and once all the money's gone and the market calms down, then we strike, right? So now, what's that?
That's what I say.
So notice we're getting a little break here, which this is telling us that this downtrend is getting weak, right? We're in an area. We're not there yet, though. We still have room to come. All right, you guys see that on this daily time frame, right? We still have some room to come. So I'm going to actually see if I can't get this to a 4-hour here. Yeah, the 4-hour, we're already really oversold. So this could be it. This could be as far as we're going today. This could be it. Like I said, this is the 3rd leg on that Elliott wave pullback. We've pulled back. We haven't pulled back to the 50% mark, right? That could be the Goldilocks zone. So what I would anticipate is one of 2 things happening. All right, we get this pullback right up to here to the overnight low, fill one gap, and then make that 4th leg down to the 50% retracement mark before we continue higher. That makes sense to me, right? That I could live with, that I could deal with. That actually, now that I'm just said it, that makes perfect sense. So that could be something that we really need to pay close attention to. Remember, this up here, this right here is the trend line right here. All right, notice where the trend line and that overnight high are meeting. And it was a lot better earlier, but I think I moved it. Let me go back and fix it. And so I really need that to be perfect. Yeah, that looks good. But notice now, right, if we pull back, look where it's going to bring us. I mean, everything's going to line up right here. So that I like that. I like that play back to the 50% mark right here, which is 11,445. And that 50% retracement mark just so happens to be right here, right? That's a perfect trend line. Right, I just marked these down. The pre-marked game plan didn't upload, but we already fulfilled the pre-market game plan, which was these three areas. Right, I said, you know, these were the three levels we were going to be watching, with the potential to come down here. You know, I really don't think, now that I'm seeing the 4 hour, you know, we're not going to get here or here right now. Right, not without some type of a pullback. Right, that would be really, really far-fetched to believe that we would see more of a sell-off without getting a pullback, right? Because now the market, you know, we're 100% net short. Notice we're overextended, you know, on most of the time frames. We're almost at that 50% mark. So, you know, I wouldn't be too keen on going short at the bell. Even with the jobless claims numbers being bad, that should further strengthen the idea, right, that we're going to come back up, because we didn't get really any sell-off whatsoever on those bad jobless claims numbers, right? I mean, that was like a dud, a bad firework. You know what I'm saying? Here was 830. You know, we sold off what, 50 points, and now we're finding. And can you guys tell me what this is right here that's happening right now? This pattern?
Solidation?
No, this is actually, it's called ascending scallops. It's a scallop formation pattern. That's the way that it looks like. Typically, it would happen the opposite way, like that. And then also to the downside, it would look something like this. But it'll always be easily identifiable because of the way that it forms, just like it is. I mean, you can clearly see that shape. You know what I mean? It just stands out from any other thing that you can see on the chart right now. You know, it kind of looks like a fish hook backwards. You know, and this way it looks just like a fish hook. If you could picture it turned the other way, and that's why I always joke about the guy in the boat with fishing. but yeah, this is sending. They're called scallops in the markets. I haven't heard any traders really ever talk about them because they're probably too young for that to know that kind of terminology, but that's what these are called. They're scallops. But that's a clear, nice indication, right? I wouldn't be looking to go long here. Remember, I'd wait for this to come up and then get that pullback and then continue that move to the upside. So let's see what we do at the bell. Right, we could just rip right up at the bell. I don't know if we do. I could care less because we still have a game plan, right? Even if we take this back out, right? If it just rips right at the bell, right, it's gonna eventually pull back. So let it do what it wants to do. Give it a few minutes, and then, you know, take your entries, right? But looking at that daily time frame, this would make more sense to me today. You know, coming back, filling that gap, then pulling back to either one of these two areas or even the 50%, which would give you a fourth leg down in the Elliott wave pattern. And then we're going to look for, from here on out, for that Santa Claus rally with minor pullbacks between now and the end of December. So that's what I would be anticipating, and you know, depending on what we have happens here this week and next week, you know, once we get back up in this area, then we're going to have to go back out to the weekly time frame so we can mark off that December, you know, downtrend to see where our next profit target would be. Because right now, you know, if you look at the charts, we're something kind of like here now. So we have, you know, a certain amount of room on that weekly time frame before we hit this right here. You know what I mean? At least I think we do anyway. I'm pretty sure we do. And I don't think we can go on a weekly here. Yeah, you'd have to figure out the hours of it. Actually, let me see if by any chance we can get a glimpse of it. Well, maybe. Yeah, so that's what I'm talking about. Might be hard to see, but this is what I was just drawing, right? We have this room right here to come back up to the trend channel, you know? So I would be anticipating a run back up to at least touch this, possibly break it, and, you know, finally end the downtrend. You know what I mean? So that's what we'll have to keep on watch after this area right here. But we'll get there when that time presents itself. Right now we just want to focus on this. Alright, see, now notice we broke here on our trend, and now we would want to wait for that pullback, right? And we could do this number right here. Okay, because now we're looking to break this trend, get a little pullback, and then make our next leg up. Right, even in this channel, we got 3 legs down already. The 1, 2, 3, and now we're scalloping. Right, we're holding here. And we'll see what they do with the bell. Alright, if we got a decent pullback on this, right down to this area, right in here maybe, right under, I would take a nice little quick shot to the upside. If we come right, I'll go ahead and put an order right there. Alright, because that'll bring us right down to this area, right where I drew that circle. You know, and if we get filled, we get filled. If it comes right to it and doesn't fill us, oh well, but that's where I'd be willing to buy it. You know what I mean? And that's the way I keep myself safe, right, from bad things happening. Because I want the best fill price, right? I don't want to buy it here and then it end up pulling back to here where I originally had my order. You know what I mean? And that's why I don't chase anything, because, you know, you might miss a few trades, but most of the time you'll get them, right? Sometimes you won't, but most of the time you will. But just use your better judgment, right? I could put that trade right here where the candle's closed, right? But I would expect that little manipulation to kind of boing and take out all these people who are long, right? So I'm thinking, like, you know, the market makers would, like, hey, let's come back and let's take these people back out, right? So they could potentially make a big red bar to take these people out as well. But that's why I always say, you know, start your position, right? Start it. This way, if they do pull it back, right, you can actually even place 2 orders here. One here, one here, right? If this one gets filled, cool. If it pulls back because they want to take out these people, then you have another one. And if it pulls back even more, well, I wouldn't add anymore, because then you're probably wrong. Right? But you know, it looks good, and this could just be another, you know, another leg down. It very well could be. We're getting so close to the bell, but as far as our legs down are concerned, you know, if they do bring this down, this is the next area right here, 11,500.
Order filled.
All right, so we got that one filled. So let me get back in there so I can see what's going on. Right now, look at where that got filled. Look at, I drew this mark out, and we got filled right where I put that order. Right? How cool is that? Right? That's called planning your trades. Right? That's where I'd be willing to buy it at for, you know, a little scalp, and I'll put my sell order on that. I'm not looking to get rich on these. You know, just quick little in and out scalps. But until we know what the market wants to do, I'll just put it right below the 20, right? I know it's going to want to come back to at least that. So, you know, just to make quick little scalps. And like I said, you know, they'll most likely want to take out these people who are long and these people and, you know, possibly even come back down to here. All right, we're coming into the bell, 100% net short. We could easily come back to and close that gap, right? The odds of them selling it off even further at the bell are very, very minimal, right? They're going to want to, they might do a quick fake out bar, boom, right? They might do one of those bars just to rope in the bears and then reverse it right back up. Because you know they're not going to want to sell all the way down here, right? I mean, if you have millions of dollars, are you going to want to sell at the bottom? Absolutely not. You're not going to want to do that, right? You'd want to sell somewhere back in this area or this area, right? If we're going to come back down to these two areas or even that 50% mark, remember, we're on the 4 hour now, which we're already massively oversold on. So you want to keep that in the back of your mind. And I'd actually like to get filled on this one before the bell if it'll fill it. If we can get that filled, that'll change my order. And then I can even pull it down a tiny smidge.
Order filled.
There we go. Now you see how it moved my overall fill price down? But I think I'm going to go ahead and put that one up above this to sell it. And try and make a few more bucks on it rather than just quickly exit out of it. I don't really like trading into the bell or holding into the bell, so this is really risky. I wouldn't encourage it. But, you know, we got a lot of things in our favor, right? Right now, we got divergence. All right, this one isn't diverging, but the area, if I was looking for that quick scalp, that would be a good quick scalp. But looking at our higher time frames, you know, knowing what we know after our assessments, you know, looking at the overall big picture, right? That's a good area to be long. Okay, we got divergence. We're oversold. We're right in a specific area after our third leg down on the higher time frame, the Elliott wave pattern. And this is what I was expecting, right? So let's go ahead. Now I want to buy more. I'm going to buy a market there. I'm going to put one more order for here. And, it, you know, like I said, anticipating that at the bell, right? That let's rope in the bears. Let's trap them in. That I love those type of liquidity grabs like that because they totally trap in the bears. And you see it time and time again. So I love seeing stuff like that. Now I'm actually going to move my take profit a little bit higher because I'm anticipating that move back up. Right, so we're going to keep that up. We got 2 more below us to get filled. So that we got 3 now, and we'll see if we get that 4th one. But yeah, I mean, I'm just loving this right now. But typically, right, this happening in this area after this, the only reason this is happening is because we're several minutes from the bell. That's why I always tell you guys, you know, time and location are key, right? Time and location. Well, you can't expect moves like this in the overnight hours, right? You can't expect much follow through in the overnight hours, but moves like this at this time, every trader and his brother is at their computer right now waiting on this opening bell. You know what I mean? So that's what we have in our favor. But how cool is that? That's exactly what we were expecting at the opening bell to rope in those bears. And remember, if you do trade like this, right, with multiple contracts, and I don't want any of you doing that now, but when you in the future, right, the lower you buy, as you know, let's just say I bought these like this, and now I moved these profit targets below where I entered in, you're not really making any money, right? Even though your order zone is right here, your price comes down, but you're buying lower, right? So if you wanted to make money, overall, you want to keep your profit targets above your entry point. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. But that's why I kind of move these up a little bit. We're still going to make money, right? We're still going to make money. But I just want to maximize my profits, right? So I'm going to just keep these where they are. I moved the first two orders up. Right? Notice we were at like $50-something, and now we're only right there now. Right? Because we averaged down on this bar. Now I still have those two orders below us there. And we'll see if we get filled, right? So we got that 1, 2. There was that third movement. And this is where they could potentially run it, if they're going to do that at the bell, to run it back up. But, you know, now that this move kind of just happened, you know, we'll just have to wait and see what they're going to do at the bell. You know, they could still easily sell it at the bell just to rip it back up. But now that we got that one fill there, I think we're good to go. So I'm going to take that one off the table, and I'm going to leave that one on. And I'm going to move it down here, just below that, and just see what we do with the bell here. But this is how, you know, like now what I'm not liking about it is where we are right here. But when we saw this bar, that's why I added on that bar, right? You know, you're using the tools that I'm teaching you how to use, so you can, you know, do quick trades like that. Like we can close it out now. We could have closed it out for the $70 profit, right? And made a little bit of money, but we only got 1 minute to the bell. It's only 3 contracts. But I just, now that we're at that 50% mark, you know, we just want to see what happens. But outside of that, I love these liquidity grabs like that. You know, those things, I just love them. Because it's, you know, I've been doing this so long, I know exactly what they're doing with those bars. Right? That was kind of like here. I said they're either going to pull back to take them out, possibly even them out. And then at the bell, what I say, rip it down, right? To rip it right back up. So that's how you can, you know, make the market almost predictable, right? But it takes time to learn that. But every time I see it, I always tell you guys a liquidity grab, right? Liquidity grab. Just get used to seeing it and, you know, identifying it when it happens, right? It happened in a specific area at a specific time, right? The odds right now are, you know, in our favor to come back up to retest. Right now, they might just come back up to retest this. I don't know if we're going to get that to the upside all the way there, but everything is confirming, you know, that we're looking good for at least a pullback to the upside. And then, like I said, then we're looking for a possible retracement before we continue this Santa Claus route.
Order filled.
Right, so 2 of them are out now, up 150, and that was just 3 contracts.
Order filled.
There we go. And now, again, like I said, we should be looking, now that we're strong out of the gates, here's our overnight low, here's the pattern we're looking for, right? To come back down to retest these areas, and then continue our Santa Claus rally throughout November, December. Do you guys have any questions or anything? Because I want to keep it kind of short today. I'm exhausted. I want to look into why OBS isn't running right. And I want to start setting things up for next week because we got a lot of cool stuff we're going to be doing. And